Hey there, hacker. My name is Aaron, and today we're going to go ahead and dive into my crates and show you how I build them. This is going to be super helpful for the wedding DJ who maybe needs a refresh. I'm going to show you how I build mine and how I stack my songs on top of one another. And if anything, I hope you walk away with a sense that there is a rhyme and reason to it. There's a hidden secret inside every crate that we build that you may not be aware of. And the only way to show you is to just dive right in. So, if you have bad crates, if your crates are a disorganized mess, if you have a wedding coming up and you need a refresh, or maybe you're a DJ who's just getting started in weddings, let alone building your own crates, I hope I can give you some inspiration to make your best performance yet. That's what it all boils down to. Crates equals better performance. Now see, before we crack open my wedding crate, just know that we talk about this constantly on this channel, and I'd love to have you continue the conversation by clicking subscribe. Second of all, we've done deeper dives on my history with radio programming. See, during the daytime, I was hosting radio shows. At night, I'd carry those headphones down to the club or to a wedding, and the music would continue. I always thought that there was some programming that the radio program directors knew that the club DJs didn't. So along the way, while we take a peek inside my crate, you're going to see some of those philosophies from my old school radio days, today's wedding crate. Again, it's all for inspiration. You should not be matching this 100%. But even if you did, here's my theory. What you're about to see is sheet music. Just like somebody with a clarinet or a horn would receive all the notes to play, but no matter the instrument, every person's rhythm and DNA is going to be in that performance. No one performer is going to play this the same exact way. And that's why I'm not afraid to share it with you. You can follow along with me. I will provide a link in the comments. So this is part 2 to my wedding crate series, which you can find on Crate Hackers. Every time I do a performance, it uploads here. So what you're seeing here is not quite a playlist you'd see on a streaming channel or a YouTube playlist of any nature. No, this is a performance from beginning to end. I think the best way to make sense of it is I went to a concert one time and the band that was finishing up their encore walked off stage, and I was in the front row and I saw on their stage a piece of paper with all the songs in the order that they were going to perform. And sure enough, that's exactly what we have, only from a DJ's perspective. Now, I'm going to tell you why I picked some of these songs, and I'll talk about some of the mixed combinations in a few minutes, but let's take this off screen and share with you one of the secrets inside these crates that I build. When I was experimenting as a young DJ, I really gravitated towards the house and techno scene. And there were some artists like Tiesto and Armin van Buuren who were so good at the harmonic mixing. Harmony in music, the best way for me to describe harmony in a DJ set would be, can you make the songs sing together? Not just lock in tempo and BPM. When you see a DJ on stage and they're staring at their screen, they're looking at the waveforms to try and align the beats, right? But a lot of them are missing out on the circle of fifths. This is the circle of fifths. You might have seen this before. And there's so many other great YouTube videos that describe how this works. But the gist of it is certain numbers are compatible with other numbers. One thing I would like to point out is that there's some wonderful apps that you can use to find the BPM and harmony. If you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, and maybe you're sitting here in a DJ booth, you could have it just sitting on the side and start playing with the harmony along with the tempo. I'll provide the links for that below in the comments. While you're at it, if you're appreciating this, have you clicked subscribe yet? We're slowly starting to grow this channel, and I think you're starting to catch on that all we ever do is talk about stuff like this. This is, again, the circle of fifths, and that is the secret to a majority of our crates. Not only when I build my crates am I doing it from a historical point of view, what were the best performances I had in the past? And I keep those and I keep building on top of them. I prune certain songs out as they fade off or drop off the charts. And then I do the best I can to try and match the harmony, the key. And using that circle of fifths helps my music sing together. Is it an extra step? Yeah. Does it make it sound better? Absolutely. So many compliments. Ever since I started key mixing, my referrals have gone through the roof. No joke. There's a difference in the way we sound when we not only align our key, but also our tempo. If you can get both and study up on your charts and the hit music, You got everything I got, and I'm sharing it with you today. All of this is yours. Let's go ahead and crack open the crate one more time. You saw just the beginning set. Now let's talk about the philosophy of why I chose some of these songs. You know what? I'll be really honest with you. A majority of this came from watching the greats, seeing some of the best perform out there, asking hundreds of DJs. On a weekly basis, I host inside the Crate Hackers community what's known as hackathons. Now, this is a give and take collaboration where I give you a couple songs, you give me a couple songs, and then we build that crate together. I asked all these wedding DJs, what's the first song you play to kick off a wedding dance party? Let's say after cocktail, after dinner, first dance is out of the way, it's time to fill that floor. What is the first song you're going to play? So many DJs had said, Let's Stay Together by Al Green. And how can they go wrong with that? Because that is really a timeless classic. It still holds true today. And it's got that sweet spot for taking the party in any direction. I'm going to try and zoom in just a little bit more here so you see this. All right, so you got a key of 7A, and then you've got a BPM of 102. And this, I think, is the reason why it's so popular for DJs to start the party, because that's a good, safe BPM to be at. You could take it in a number of different directions. Al Green could probably keep you moving on the R&B tip. You could go into hip hop at that point. But for me, I'm going to try and keep grandma on the dance floor, right? We got grandma, we got the grandparents, they're still sticking around. And yes, we'll play the more modern stuff throughout the night, not at the end of the night. I'll explain what that means with our next mix, and that would be from Stevie Wonder into Harry Styles. So the next mix I'm going to do is something that's going to, may not be familiar with grandma, but it does show that you know your newer music. And it just feels right for an opening vibe. Maybe not everybody's dancing at this point, so I think you can get away with Harry Styles early on. Yep, I did break the circle of fifths. 4A does not go into 7B, but it's a 109 to 115, and they both have the same mood and feel. It just felt right, and I'm going to break that rule, and it's okay to do that. I do run myself into a wall sometimes when my head is thinking about not just the BPM, but also the key. Your options are limited. You know what? Get it going. Mix it anyway. If you know that mix is going to be a little off key or off tempo, grab that microphone, talk over it or something. But this mix felt good. And then I went into something that no one saw coming, and that's Capital City's Safe and Sound. It's got that vibe. For the brides and grooms of this generation, this is their old school. And all the while, I'm thinking, okay, we're 4 or 5 songs in. Not everybody is on the dance floor. And I get that. Many of the venues are just slowly starting to open the doors, or people are coming in from the cake cutting in the other room. So I'm still keeping that tempo, toe tapping. Elton John, Dua Lipa, Cold Heart is one of those songs that, boy, it bridges the gap between young and old, gives you that modern feel with some familiar lyrics that everybody of any age can relate to. I think that's why it's going to stay on the charts for such a long time, including wedding playlists. Now it's time to turn up. Lighting makes a big difference in this kind of scenario. I work in a venue in Nashville, Tennessee, and we have these coordinators who will go back and turn off the lights right when I tell them to. And it's at this point I would say, all right, let's dim the lights and get my gig bar behind me going, and I'll have Lizzo. This edit, you got to go find. I believe it's on, I hope it's still on Club Killers, but DeVille does this wordplay segue that does Lizzo into Diana Ross. Again, something that mixes old with new. Oh, have you clicked subscribe yet? Just checking. I hope so, because we love stuff like this. If you haven't pushed play on Redbone's Come and Get Your Love in a while, trust me, I think it'll put a smile on your face too. Okay, so here we go into what I call Joe Bunn mode. Shout out to Joe Bunn. He is the one that even helped me get this thing up and operational. Crate Hackers is a community of DJs who talk about playlists and why we build our crates in the way we do. There's a philosophy to it, and if it wasn't for the DJ's vault, there would be no playlist that you're looking at right now. Thanks, Joe. He is a phenomenal DJ, by the way. Works in Raleigh, North Carolina, and there were some combinations of mixes that I heard him play early on. And at that point, it was just mind-blowing to me. And I've remembered some of those mixes that he's had, and I shared them inside my crate. There's nothing, don't be afraid to bite from some of the greats, because they're there to teach you. Joe is on this planet to instruct you how to play. So I'm sharing some of his wisdom here by going from Nelly's Ride With Me into Mi Gente into Holla Back Girl. These three, he performed flawlessly into one another. There's something about these mixes that I'll probably continue to experiment with. J Balvin, Mi Gente, starting to fall off. It's been around for a minute. I might find some of the Bad Bunny. I want some Latino flair in between, if you know what I mean. I want to try and get some international flavor into an American wedding. But J Balvin is, me in particular, I'm not seeing much of a reaction lately, so I might consider dropping that one out. However, it's just a smooth mix between Nelly's Ride With Me, Holla Back Girl, and of course, you got to keep the party moving. Vanilla Ice, you can't go wrong. No brainer to Uptown Funk. Now, everyone knows Uptown Funk, but there's a point at the very end of the song, Uptown Funk just stops cold. Then, with that song being such a smash still to this day, I could let it ride out all the way to the end. Here's a hint. You don't always have to mix every single song, and they don't always have to be in tempo, in key. These are just some parameters to keep you creative and fun and sound really good. But when it's time to switch the tempo up, because we've been at a BPM of 115 now for about 12 songs, this is a great learning lesson in two ways. You can start to slam out and bring a whole new vibe in. So in your head, you're thinking, okay, Uptown Funk. I wish I could play this on YouTube because I can't because of copyright, but we all know that song. Ends cold, and then the guitar riff kicks in from Miley Cyrus. So Miley Cyrus is all the way down at a BPM of 96, but it is a cold drop. And what I mean by that is just it just sounds good because the timing was right. We're so fixated on locking our BPMs. Don't forget about timing. So I dropped it all the way down to a key of 2A as well as 96. Now you're thinking, wait, hold on. Is that even harmonically possible? Can you go from a 7A to a 2A? You absolutely can. I want to pull up an app for my phone, and this is that harmony calculator I was talking about. You see this range of white right here? These are the keys that are compatible with one another. But now, look at these little outlying ones on the other side of the clock. Let's remember we had Uptown Funk at 7A and Miley Cyrus to a 2A. So here's Uptown Funk, and here's 2A. How is that working? How is that even possible? This is what we call energy boosts. And I can tell you that just by knowing this, memorizing this offhand, I don't even have to look at this app anymore. I can tell you that 7A is compatible with 12A and 2A. Okay, so I think the best way to break this down, simply, for one, get the app. It'll help you. You don't have to memorize this all. But for a quick lesson, 12A, let's start here, top of the clock. Go down across the clock, +1, -1. That's the best way to explain it. Okay, so 12A to 6A, +1, -1. +1 would be 7A, -1 would be 5A. Let's try one more practice here. 3A across the clock, +1, -1. What is it? +1, 10A, 8A. That is an energy boost trick that not everybody knows about. And what it does is still the vocals sing together really well, but the energy just shifts either up or down. Every time you plug a song into the Cray Hackers desktop app, it'll show you harmony matches, right? But it's these energy boosts that I'm talking about, songs that'll get you from one place to the next. But yeah, so there's definitely some more advanced ways to keep your mix sounding cohesive, even by changing the vibe altogether. So that's exactly what Uptown Funk to Party in the USA did right there. Again, this is just all in my head. This is my philosophy. I'm sure we're going to get a bunch of philosophies in the comments, and that's what's beautiful about Cray hacking is everyone's got their philosophies. And I'm just getting a little bit more granular, a little more in-depth with today's video. I hope you're enjoying it. All right, so I balanced the line between cheese and stank face. Cheese and stank face. What's the best way to describe that? It's like petting a cat and then slapping somebody in the face next. Something comfortable, something warm, and then wake up. So my stank face in this mix was Snoop Dogg, Drop It Like It's Hot. Once that goes in, people know it's time to get serious, right? And I think at this point, maybe grandma has left. Hoping so. If not, it's about to get a little bit more frantic because you've got The Shape of You remix from DJ Hope. It's a wordplay. Can't remember what remix. Don't ask me because I don't remember what record pool I got this one from. But it's a blend between Shape of You and Crazy in Love. From there, I go into Wobble, first participation dance of the night. You might want to ask your client about interactive dances. I think here in Nashville, we're going to add to our wedding questionnaire, do you wobble? Do you do the Macarena? Do you cha-cha? Just to get that question out of the way, because not every bride and groom wants that. You might want to ask first, just make that part of the conversation. 9 times out of 10, however, even though they explicitly don't want that interactive song, YMCA kind of thing going on, once the alcohol starts flowing, they may change their mind. Bring those songs just in case. Hope you're having fun. This is my mind. This is how it works. Let's go back to the top really quick. And I just wanted to point out one other thing that my radio programming taught me along the way. Not leaning too male heavy or female heavy. So for example, I've had 4 songs now sung by a male. And then I'm breaking that code here by what would normally be Elton John's male voice with Dua Lipa's voice. So now a female gets to take over. There's a rule in radio that you didn't want to stack too many male vocals on top of male vocals, depending on what format you were in. In fact, there was a country station here in Nashville that got called out for that because they intentionally kept women voices away from others. Anyway, I think it's a beautiful thing to like hear the voice of the opposite sex every so often. It's like a breath of fresh air. So I kept that in mind as I was curating. So yeah, there's a lot going on in my head, as in case you couldn't tell. I really give this stuff some thought, right? As I'm sure you can see. Okay, interactive dance. We got something for everybody. 90s and 2000s are huge right now. Nostalgia is so big, and you can see that with these mixes. You got females taking over for just a minute here. Salt and Peppa into Dancing Queen. Then we got our first boy bands of the night. This, by the way, ABBA into Backstreet Boys. It is an amazing mix. These blend so well together. And I think at that point, the Backstreet Boys are just, they're hitting that pocket for every age that's alive right now. Everybody knows the words, and it might be your first technical slow dance of the night. Now, again, I've already thought about my audience for this wedding. I'm assuming that we're going to be, the year's 2023. They're going to be in their late 20s, early 30s. So you want to do some math and figure out what was that pocket in time where they felt like they were cool. Think about that. When was that time where your client felt cool? For me, it was my 20s and 30s. I thought that I was just king of the world, right? I would strut to some of the songs as I was walking through high school and college, and I want to do that for my clients. So you want to find that decade, that sweet spot, but you don't want to be too stuck in that decade for too long. They don't want to hear their high school party jams all night long. That's why, like Harry Styles early on, I'm reminding them all the while, I still got you with that new music. I'm going to keep it fresh. All right, turning on the stank face once again. We were getting cheese over here, like a lot of cheese from ABBA to Backstreet Boys, the wedding stuff, I swear, so many American DJs hear these songs weekly. All right, stank face part 2, Drake into the Motto. I'm going to see how well this one works this season. It is a nice shift from slow dance into hip hop, but I might figure out another mix this season. Motto, I don't know. It could perform better. Levitating still works. Oh, man. Levitating into yeah. There's a sweet spot in levitating where you can go, yeah, 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 into yeah. It's wordplay like nothing else, and I think any DJ could pull that off with a exact key match and BPM. And then Digital Dave, he has this wonderful mix from yeah into yeah 3 times. And this is what is called a transition mix. I really want to encourage the beginner DJs or people who don't know about transition mixes to get those into their collection. There are thousands scattered across so many record pools. By the way, don't ask me what my favorite record pool is. My answer to you, all of them. Explore every possible place you can discover music. Go record shopping again. All right, so now the party's on. We're going into yeah 3 times into levels. Another flawless mix into stank face mode. Fun fact, Waka Flocka Flame and Avicii's Levels are a super sick mix together. Let's keep the hip hop moving with some Flow Riders Low. Don't want to get too crazy, so let's take it back to the classics. This is still, by the way, fun fact, the #1 song for brides and grooms across America. It's been this way for, I want to say, 3 to 4 years. Checking out the DJ Event Planner Top 200. I Want to Dance with Somebody from Whitney Houston is still the biggest song to get the dance floor going. And look, we're already halfway through the night. So if anybody's going to be burnt out, they're going to come back. And just in time for a slow dance, Leave the Door Open by Bruno Mars. All right, I chose this one because it was hot last season whether or not I'll keep it for this one. I don't know. Is there a slow dance? Give me like an R&B slow dance to replace that with. Because I don't know if maybe I go back and forth on if I should let that one go or not. It wasn't the biggest smash, but for a good feeling wedding R&B song, that's the only one that comes to mind for now. All right, so now we're going to play around here and take care of some alt rock. To me, that was a really big thing for weddings the previous season, where you had artists like Blink-182 make a big comeback. I think it was Avril Lavigne that paved that path. She started making new songs. Fall Out Boy was still big, and you will always get everybody to enjoy The Killers. Blink-182 into The Killers, pretty decent mix. Again, another one of those energy boosts you're seeing from 3 to 8. Hold on. 3B, across the clock, +1, -1. There you go, see? You starting to see how my head works? Are you appreciating this so far? I'm almost done. I'll breeze through the rest really quick here, but click subscribe if you have not done so yet. Bohemian Rhapsody. Find a shorter edit if you can. There are some that are sitting around. You don't need the full 7-minute version. Once that song comes to an end, very much like that Uptown Funk into Party in the USA transition, this is a slap into another tempo. For some reason, I always associate Justin Timberlake and Michael Jackson together, just because they both feel like the kings of pop in their rightful times. There's a King James Roddy Ricch the Box tone play edit that goes doot doot doot. It plays the tone of Like I Love You with the box. Takes you from pop to hip hop pretty quick. Got Taio Cruz Dynamite, Break My Soul from Beyonce. I'm not seeing much of a reaction, at least where I'm from, with Break My Soul. I don't know how it works at your wedding dance floors, but I might swap that one out this year. Timberland, The Way I Are. Kind of selfish with this one. One of my personal favorites from back in the day. There's a story with that song. Fun fact, I was the DJ for Justin Timberlake's family wedding. His brother was getting married, right? And Justin Timberlake was in the audience. And of course, when he walked in the room, I'm just freaking out because this is like the biggest honor ever, right? And he, of course, acknowledges me from time to time. And I wanted to let him have time with his family, but I wanted to get his attention with my music. So when it turned time to dance and his family got out, he was waiting to see what the DJ would do before he got out there on the dance floor, right? And I'm playing this exact playlist at the Timberlake wedding. And it was up until that point that Justin had his fill of talking to everybody around the dance floor, and I pushed play on this song, and he looked at me. I looked back at him, and he gave me that stank face. And then he got out there and he finally started dancing. And I'm like, yes! He fist bumped me later on that night. We had a chance to take a picture together. But if we can get Justin Timberlake dancing to this set, come on, right? All right. Our next slow dance, if you will, is I Had the Time of My Life by Bill Medley. It's a combination of both. You can dance, you can pirouette, you can be with somebody or be solo, but it just is a beautiful song that lasts the ages. Fade out, slam right into Spice Girls. Boom. The energy's back on the dance floor. This song works amazing for weddings in 2023. Big Energy by Lotto. Make sure you are definitely playing the clean edit. Yeah, you should be playing clean edits all the time at weddings. Don't let me catch you dropping F-bombs around the kids. Speaking of the kids, gotta educate them. They gotta know where it all started. Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang. Out of Lotto, it makes sense because Lotto is channeling some old hip-hop beats as well, so it feels right. However, out of Sugar Hill Gang, we're going to keep that disco R&B vibe going with some Sister Sledge. This should get everybody on the dance floor, but it also might be a time for you to get on the microphone and say, hey, this is your last chance to be with the family. We're wrapping up soon, and it's something for all ages. You get everybody singing it. Have a little bit more fun with some Dua Lipa. It's Tricky from Run DMC has actual guitar instruments in the song, so it blends really well with AC/DC's You Shook Me All Night Long. One more for the ladies. That's some Kelly Clarkson. Again, also it's got that rock vibe to it. Couple more songs and we're out of here. All I Do Is Win. So Shout is another one of those songs that I asked DJs what works really well for the final track. And a lot of them say this one seems to do well still even to this day. Isley Brothers Shout. There is debate on if there is another version out there that I will not speak of, because to me, the Isley Brothers will be the official version. You can fight me on that in the comments. But all right, so by my calculations, we've probably done about a 3-hour wedding. Now that leaves you a lot of room to bring in your own, of course. I want you to start thinking about ways that you can spice it up yourself. All the while I can tell your gears are turning during this, and I hope they are. If we were to really put the icing on the cake, I think you would maybe ask for a personal song that means the most to them to really cap off the night as everyone's walking out the door. It is key to capture memories when they're leaving. So maybe take that song that she walk down the aisle to and play that as everyone's leaving. It just puts an end cap, maybe a full circle moment, if you will. That's one of the tricks I do. And I'm trying to think of anything else I can share with you except for the very important part. That's how my curation works for every crate that I've built for the past 3 years on the Crate Hackers platform. I meticulously grind through the data. I host these live shows to get feedback. Not to mention, I'm scouring the charts weekly so I can find the hits faster. See, to me, I've always thought that there was not enough help for the club DJ. Everyone's in it for themselves, and I've never really been like that. I want to help these DJs because it's not necessarily about them per se. Yeah, I do want you to succeed. I want you to mix the hits, but let's see what we can do to make this the best night ever for the attendees. It's not about your mixing. It's not about your music. It's about the memories, not anybody else's but theirs. If you pull this off, you'll have some great memories yourself. And I can tell there'll be some people in the comments who will say that some of this stuff is played out, or no, I would never play this stuff in the world. But you need to understand that weddings are made for memories. And these are the tested hits for now. But I'm always thinking, what can we pull out? And what can we trade? And what can we improve? So what'd you think? Do you have any questions? I will do my best to answer all of them in the comments. But talk about the deepest dive we've done in quite some time. And I hope it gives you a deeper understanding on how we take crates seriously. And I certainly hope that it can help you dominate dance floors. That's what this is all about. Let's have a good time as DJs again. Let's gather around a crate. Let's discuss our techniques together and get people dancing again. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Aaron Traylor. If you enjoyed this, yeah, we're going to do future episodes like this for sure. So click subscribe. But more importantly, this crate, as well as many other crates like this, from wedding to pop to EDM, dance, even international crates, I'm going to give them all to you right now. For sticking around through this video, I'm giving you unlimited crates, all of my crates. You can have them now, but you only have 7 days to take a peek. Sorry, I can't let you have it forever. Grab it while you can. 7 free days of Crate Hackers for anybody who hung out with me to this point. That's my thanks to you. See you soon. Happy hacking.